Hi, it's Emma Bissong here. Okay, why don't guys understand girls and why don't girls understand guys? Um, why? I think it's just basically what I've been talking about, for the past week. It's simple. It's communication. We need to communicate more in this time, and that's very true. All right, so I have this kind of lives every morning, from Monday to Friday. And basically, what I'll be talking about on these lives is talk about sexual dynamics, talk about masculinity. Basically, because I'm building a masculine community, a community to help men with resources and especially to bring men together to be resourceful for each other. Also, I have strong interest and I actually do some work in brand communications and storytelling. And I can tell you for a very um, straight up fact that we need to communicate more in this time than ever before. I was having this session with a friend of mine. Well, a new person who actually met me up for a sexual dynamics session, Alpha Guys sexual dynamics sessions. So, this one, we had this discussion yesterday, and he was telling me about why every time he has interaction with women, it always ends up one particular way or the other. Um, According to him, it always ends up with them not having any good interactions, and he doesn't like that. He's pained about that. And then I asked him, okay, he was trying to talk to me about this particular girl he met, and when he met her, he said, okay, they got talking, he got a number, and now every time he tries to meet up, she brings up one excuse or the other. And of course, as obvious as that is, that she's not interested, we have to also go back to their first interaction and see why he thinks he's interested in the first place. You see, the way men and women communicate are quite different. Um, men do a lot of overt communication, and women do more covert communication. And for those of us who understand why, if we have if we understand the evolutionary reason for our styles of communication, then of course we understand what this is. Yeah. So Ben, what we're talking about is communication, especially with sexual dynamics, and also talking about brands, because the same reason why guys don't understand what girls are saying or girls don't understand what guys are saying is the same reason why many brands are not communicating to their customers correctly. Many people don't understand what brands are saying. Or let me not even let's say brands. Basically, well, brands, because most businesses that are coming up, especially small businesses, at least they call themselves brands and they try to, work under a particular kind of name and a particular kind of persona. And many of them are not speaking the language of the people that they say they intend to talk to. What they are doing is that they feel like they're communicating, and they are not actually, because they are simply talking and giving out content and telling people what they want to do. They are not reading their customers. They're not reading the people that align with them. They're not reading what do they exactly want to hear. You know, what exactly is it that they want to hear? What exactly do they want to feel? What exact content or what experience are they looking to get? So back to what I was saying about my guy that we're having this conversation, and he was telling me about this chick. Then I asked him. He said he walked up to her and said that okay, she looks good. He likes her, and they would like them to have further communication after that. And then okay, that makes sense. But you like her. How does that translate to her liking you too? You know, and have you thought of how she interprets the idea that you like her after 5 minutes of seeing her? It makes sense to a man, because when we say we like her, it's like, man, I like this packaging, I like what she looks like, um I have maybe sexual interest in her, or maybe she's just my speck of woman, or maybe she said one or two things here and I like, man, I fucked with that so totally. But that's not the same experience for her. Except of course she also saw you and she likes you at first sight. Then it's a futile endeavor to go and tell her that you like her, and there is no progression from there, because in her mind she's like, he just met me for 5 minutes and he likes me. This one is lying, no. Maybe he just wants to fuck. And apart from even that, maybe she's feeling like, okay, why do you have to lie to, progress further with her? You don't really like her. Or even if you truly like her, that can only make sense to men, like I said. Me, I understand when you say you're seeing a girl for 5 seconds. Oh my, I like this girl. I know what you like. I'm a guy. I can tell you exactly what you're saying. That is how men communicate. But she doesn't get it that way. You like her, okay. What she should do now? Communication. And why have we gotten this bad with communication, basically? Why have we gotten this bad with communication? I'll give you few instances or few reasons why. You know, basically, when things are natural to you, does not actually mean you would actually be proficient at them. You know, even things that are natural to you, your natural talents, things that you can do naturally, if you do not hone those skills, talents, or abilities, you get to lose them. You see, for a long time, I was not playing the violin. When I started playing, it was obvious that I was shaky a little bit. It was obvious that I was getting shaky, and I was shaky. Why? Because I was not practicing this thing, which is actually talent for me. So the fact that something is talent for you doesn't actually mean um, you get it right, or you would simply have it forever without the continuous practice of having it. So yeah, I lost that ability because I was not um, doing it. So it slowly left me, and that is what happens with our communication skills. Naturally, men and women are supposed to understand how to relate with each other, but we live in a world whereby physical and social communication, like physical social communication, is really, really being dulled. You go to a party, everybody's pressing their phone. You go to a party, the girls are sitting one side, the guys are sitting one side, and the girls are pressing away on their phones. We have this way we can communicate without having to go outside. So people are indoors trying to have a simulation of human communication. So when we get to have human communications, it's awkward because we don't really know how to communicate as human beings now. It's really getting that bad. We don't have to have communications with humans. And why? Because we think communication simply means passing a message from the sender to the receiver. Well, that mode of transportation of sender to receiver, um, not always is not always what communication is. Communication basically is shared experiences. And I said there was a book I was supposed to bring forth here and talk to you about, a book on how to communicate. I'll get it through tomorrow when I have this same live by this time tomorrow. So by having my lives between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. So whatever you're doing, if you can pop in, it's good. You can always see the video on the tier, but it's more very much more interesting when you join in on lives like this, and of course comment and engage the post. Um, well, back to what I was saying. It's because of our poor social communication that we no longer have. We're trying to simulate communication, and we are losing it. We're not owning that skill of communication. So we don't really understand inherently how we communicate or how we view life. And I said communication is shared experiences. When we don't even get to have experiences, social experiences, how do we even get to have shared experiences in the first place? How do you get to understand how people are seeing this from different perspectives? And now you talking to that woman, now you spoke like a man, but you have not communicated because you did not share her experience. Did she have fun having that conversation with you? I always talk about something. I say men should always have fun when they're having conversations with women. Why? Because when you have fun, it's difficult for the other person not to have fun. And the only way to really boost attraction or to boost a good rapport is when both of you have fun, or when the person remembers your conversation with you and feels like, man, I felt intrigued, I had a good conversation, said that it was fun for me, or it was, thrilling for me. There has to be something that actually pushes me to say, man, this is a communication I enjoy and I want to do it again. So usually when we have the first communication, especially when you want to toast babe and you get a number and all of those kind of things, you have a very peripheral communication. It's not really deep. And I always tell guys, I say, you have to go for a conversation that is long, at least to some level, not a very very short conversation. For example, some guys will ask me, say, if a girl is in a hurry and you stop her, do you go all in? And she's in a hurry now. You can't just toast her in a hurry. I always say, okay, yes, good. There are ways you can always test this thing. And for me, what I usually do is ask the person if they can spare me a minute or two. If they can stop and spare me a minute or two, it means in their minds they already know that I am asking them for a piece of their time, and they're already preparing themselves to give me that piece of their time. If I just went on and say, and maybe try to start talking to them, or not try to start hurrying myself up and saying, you're in a hurry, let's hurry ourselves up. No, I don't get to build the rapport I intend to build. So usually I tell the person, can you give me 2 to 3 minutes? If the person cannot give me 2 to 3 minutes, then there's really no need for the conversation, because the conversation would be lifeless, and getting a number and proceeding will be worthless, because you will never get anything from getting a number. You become one of the chatters on a WhatsApp, or maybe a status viewer. And that's one thing. People feel like maybe when they get out of WhatsApp, then they can build a rapport. Well, maybe you can start building a rapport, but even that one self is lacking, because even the communication on WhatsApp is lacking. So we're analyzing the root causes of this thing. You could say that people always stay in their rooms and people don't really go for social engagement, and everyone is thinking that they can have the best social engagement through the phone. That is fucked up. Really fucked up. People don't get to hone this skill, which is a natural skill of communication, or the natural skill of seeking shared experiences, and everybody is just trying to speak at people and not really speak with people. So that kind of situation now, you felt you have had a rapport with her, and you commented how she looked and told her you liked her, and then the first time you're chatting with her, the first thing you're telling her is that, man, I really like you. I'd like us to see it too. No, you really like her. How do you really like her? How did this happen? If two of you, and say, first of all, relationship will not work, or anything you're building will not work if both of you do not share the same experience. I said it's communication that is the most, that's our issue. Communication is not sending message from the sender to the receiver. No, it is sharing experiences. So if she is not feeling you as you are feeling her, then there's no communication there. There's no communication there. One of the main reasons why men and women don't understand each other is our style of communication is totally different, by the way. But if we are going to have communications that will work, we have to enter into each other's minds. I will say, women will say, I told my guy to do this. When he asked me if I was going to eat, I told him I didn't want to eat. And then, can you imagine that this guy went to buy food for himself alone? I say, you told him not to eat, that you don't want to eat now. You say, but you should know now. You should have known that. But the truth is that that's not how men communicate. You felt like you communicated by your body or maybe your demeanor, and you should just know and get it. And that is true. Women want the man that just gets it, even without being told. But that communication that you did is very likely to fail. Like, it's highly likely to fail. Very highly likely to fail. And that's what you are using as your mode of communication. Usually you're going to have issues if you cannot come out straight with men. And secondly, the man also should understand that if we're going to be having this kind of interaction, there are ways I can get to understand what a woman is saying even when she doesn't say it, because like I said, women use covert means of communication. So we have to understand that we have communicated even when we have said something, and that is only when we have shared experiences. Shared experiences is the most important thing when we talk about communication. The vibe has to be there. Two of you have to feel the vibe. Two of you have to agree that the vibe is there. You cannot be saying, me now, yes, I did toast the girl. No. Is she aware that you're toasting her, or that you guys are gaining grounds on this interaction? Is she aware of where you have gotten to? You see some guys, they say, that guy is smiling at me and greeting me. She's just in a beginning stage of attraction, but you are far already behind. It's like, it's like I should, no. So you see, you want to make some fast moves or some particular moves based on your own idea of what the interaction is, and that's not the idea that the other person has. So we always have to know that if two of us are not feeling these things, we're not communicating. That's the main reason why men don't understand women don't understand men. Sexual communication, I've said it from time to time that we don't communicate well enough. We don't have shared experiences. In sex, I've found that most women have no idea what to do to pleasure men. And the main reason why they don't have any idea what to do to pleasure men is because men are the ones who, let's put it this way, men do not give them the opportunity to learn to pleasure men. Men don't communicate it. So usually you see men trying to fuck the girl, and it's like an action of a giver and receiver. So the man wants to fuck her, she wants to maybe receive it, or sometimes it's put this way that the guy is giving the man sex and the man is taking sex on the woman. And all of those things, all of those dynamics fucks a lot of things up. The man doesn't want to feel like that. He wants to also feel, the idea of pleasure. He wants maybe his woman to touch him, maybe give him a blowjob, or maybe do something very much interesting for him. But in the woman's head, she just needs to lie down and let you do your thing, because usually men will still ejaculate from those kind of sexual interactions, even if they didn't enjoy it, because it is easy to stimulate the sexual organs to ejaculation, because it's a mental thing. I want to come, and then you come. So for women, they're like, it should make me come, it should make me come, it should make me come. And then maybe he's not getting that idea, and maybe it doesn't work because she's not putting her own mental, connection to her having an ejaculation, or she having an orgasm. So usually women feel like, I was here, I made you come. No, you didn't make me come. I came on my own. I actually did a mental work to bring myself to orgasm, which you can also do, which you would not do. And that is because we don't have shared experiences. We are not communicating enough. What spoiled this thing is because we don't have any human interaction. All our ideas of nudes or sex is found on the screen. Pornography. You want to have the first idea of sex and it's porn. Not even sex, like maybe you saw a movie and two people were having sex, or maybe you saw a movie that at least there was some nudity, but the sex was still real. What we see now is produced style of sex. There's produced porn. People are fucking acrobatic styles. That is not how normal human beings have sex. And we have a highly blown idea of what sex should be. And by the time we get into having real life interactions sexually, our wants are so like, man, it's so off the roof. It's so unrealistic. And then we don't have good satisfaction from sex because we do not communicate enough in real life. A lot of the things we do with ourselves, like there's a lot of this virtual thing, this old virtual thing. It should spur human communication. That's how I always tell guys. I say, you cannot gain grounds talking to a girl, messaging her on WhatsApp continuously. Your goal should be to set up physical meetings when you can meet and have physical interaction. At the same time, there are some times when that is not possible, but you cannot prioritize that. No matter how long you're chatting with the person, it does not beat 1 minute of physical communication, because then you can read your behavioral cues, you can know what is going on. So yes, video chats like this, especially lives, are the closest to understanding these things, because this is not an edited video. It's me really talking to you as plain as possible. So yes, these things might work, but still they don't still do the work. of communication between men and women. And that being said, I want to focus a little bit more on brands. You know, when I started doing more research on brand storytelling, started understanding what it is to build brands and have a voice and a persona and all of those kind of things, I decided to apply it to what I'm building, my brand I'm building, Rising Men, which is a brand which is focusing on masculine education and masculine lifestyle. So basically, men's lifestyle and education. And we have a community, Rising Men. Our community is growing because I'm trying to point out something to men that they can all be tools for themselves in enlightening themselves. They could, let me know, is it tools? They could be good resources in enlightening themselves. People don't really understand how much importance that they have until you give them a chance to really play out their importance. And then I say, okay, who can do this? And then I try to push some kind of things to some people to do. And they really would tell me sometimes, say, oh, this is my first time of trying this, but see me, I'm good at this. We found that when we gave men the opportunity to teach different topics on masculinity, with regards to family, to sex, and the rest of them, we found that many people had wealth of knowledge that we would have not gotten if I was being a guru. If I was the only person that was talking on the group and saying, I want to be the guru, I want to be the leader, I found that men are not really given platforms to, to do all that they need to do, especially how they will do it as men, especially in men's spaces. And that's because we live in an overly feminized world right now, and there are so many masculine traits which are being called toxic, which are indeed not toxic, but of course they are being called toxic. And yes, so if that is the case, it means that the only way they can actually have communication that people can actually understand is with people that they have shared experiences with. And that's the reason why I talk to men. When I dish out content and people are like saying, I get some messages from some women and they really want me to speak to them like how I would speak to women. I see there are a lot of female content creators or a lot of female, feminist girl power thing and all of these people around. You don't need another one. You don't need me to be a girl power advocate. You don't need me to be a feminism advocate. You don't need any extra feminists. There are too many already in the world. But of course, men need situations where they can actually communicate. And that's why they have shared experiences. And one of the reasons why we always point out one thing, that we say men should not always share their vulnerability with women, especially when they have problems. They should not always be talking to women about it. It's not because, like I said yesterday in my live, it's not because women are just bad people that don't like men or don't like men to share their problems. It's because they don't really understand that style of communication. One, because these women look up to men usually as they expect men to be reliable. So it's just like you are trying to, as a child, you are crying to your parents and your parent is crying at you. You get confused. Why are my parents crying? I'm supposed to be the one crying. They're supposed to be looking after me. And usually that's a similar interaction with man and woman, especially if the woman finds you in that light as someone who is reliable, someone who she's attracted to for that very reason. So we're going to be having more lives like this, and the basic thing we're going to be talking about is communications. We need to communicate more. Brand communications are going to suffer a lot when we are not speaking the language of shared experiences. Go and check Nike, go and check Airbnb, check out their storytelling. All they are talking about is shared experiences. Airbnb does videos of people who have used Airbnb before, and how was your Airbnb experience? They talk about it, and that is good storytelling. Check out Nike. They are featuring guys who are sport guys. They are featuring guys who are athletes, and these people talk about their experiences. And yes, I can connect to that brand if I'm a sports person, because all the people that are talking about this are my guys, my tribe. Shared experiences. That's how you fucking communicate. Many brands or many people are just talking about what they are doing. They're not talking about what is the experience that these your people are having. We say that user generated content is the way, And obviously it is. And why is generated content usually the way? Because if people are using a particular product and they align with this product because of their personality, other people who actually see them aligning with this and say, okay, yeah, these are my people too, these are the kind of things I like, and these people are doing it. I mean, yes, 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 I love your brand already because you love people like me. I think that's all the communication we need, and that is largely the communication that is lacking in our time. So, guys, when you have interactions with women, make sure it's fun. Make sure it's fun, because the most important thing is to communicate your fun personality to this other person, and the person feels like this is too irresistible not to have a taste a second time. And of course, there are many times when you cannot have to create the best impression of yourself on the first meeting. But the thing is, first impressions last long, and no doubt, it's okay when you say you just try to reschedule another meeting so that this is not, but even at that, within 5 seconds, you can create a good impression. You know, the comments you use can create an impression about you. Going to meet again and say she's just fine or she has a nice ass, doesn't really sell it. Not like you can't say that or that doesn't work, but it can seem too pushy and send off the person. But maybe if you suggested it in a different light, and maybe you walked up to the person and says, "Man, I think you look totally complete." So, now the thing is that you are having a conversation, you are smiling about it. You're not trying to push beyond you knowing the person, because there's really no need for me to be sexually attracted to the person I do not know. And that's how she views it. We just want a space to have sex. She wants it to be a good interaction. We say men like any sex, but women like good sex. So in that kind of situation, if you're offering sex to just anybody you meet on the road, it's likely that your sex is not good, or it's not interesting, it's not valuable. Valuable is something that is scarce. Women get this. I think most men don't get it. Valuable is something that is scarce. And if I walk up to a woman and the first thing I'm pushing is maybe my sexual intent, it means my sex is scarce. That's what it means. It means it's not valuable. It means she shouldn't have any motivation to want to fuck me, because there's nothing valuable about what I'm offering. You understand? So we have to understand that no matter what we have done in any interaction, we have to be thinking that, was this person aligning with me in the same light? Did we both enjoy this conversation? Okay, if we're going to have a conversation next time, how do I make sure that it is that we are on the same page and the vibes are equal? If the vibes are not equal, if the vibes from her, the vibes from you are not at par, or at least you are not seeing that she's reciprocating your desire, it's not going to work at all. It doesn't ever work. Mm-mm. So these are the things we have found with communication, and this is basically why men do not get women. Further discussions on this, I would like to espouse certain points concerning this concerning communication, especially for guys and for brands. And brand storytelling is a thing that you need to focus on for your brand. You need to make sure that your brand is consistent with telling its story to its tribe and its people. What we are building at Wisen Men is a tribe of people that understand, they have these shared experiences. They know when I speak and I try to say some things, especially people will say, "You're just supporting guys, or you're coming from guys' perspective." I say, my audience is men. You're not my audience. You're not my audience. You're not my target audience. You're not supposed to understand what I'm saying. What people expect me to do now is become the guy that speaks to everybody. You cannot be the guy that speaks to everybody. I need to speak to people that want what I'm saying, that need to hear what I'm saying. It's definitely not women. I have my times when I speak to women, but I speak to men more, because my message is basically for them. And when people come to meet me and they say, and women come to meet me and they see this, you're this, you're that, you're that, and I don't really like what you said about women, or yeah, I think you should do this for women, I think you should do that for women. When they come up with all of those kind of things, I'm like, exactly, baby, exactly, baby. you're not my audience. You're not a member of my audience. You're not supposed to understand me as much as my audience understands me. If you have a member of my audience and you want them to listen to me, please direct them down here. And I promise you, from listening to me for the first 10, what am I saying, 10? Yes, for the first 1 minute, even before 1 minute, they already are in. They're like, exactly. Now my guy, but this is saying what exactly I want to hear. And that's what we should be doing. We should be sharing experiences. Even with the way we post on social media. I pointed this out yesterday. On social media, we don't post what is real life. Everybody's trying to paint a social media life, a very, very beautiful social media life. But the truth is that everybody's life is not beautiful. So how can you communicate to people whose life are not so beautiful if you want your life to be the most sparkling and most beautiful life? Yes, you might get people who like your posts, who follow you, but they do not have a connection with you because they don't even understand you. You know, it's easier to find your tribe when you are being real and when you are being open and you are open to share real experiences with people. Many people are not sharing real experiences with people. They only post their Sunday pictures when they are fully well dressed. They will not post a picture like this when they are at home and just having this simple conversation when they have not even had their bath, like me this morning. So it's basic. We need to be able to document our lives and move along, but we think our lives are not interesting enough to document and or to bring to the fore. That's why we don't ever get any authentic friends. People that we get are people that are also trying to live the life that we are portraying that we live. So everybody's trying to form for each other, you know. I try as much as possible to make my content as fluid as possible and to make it as down to earth and easy to make as possible. Not too much, packaging. No. There is some real stuff that people want to connect to. People need to connect to, especially in this our time that communication is just, a way. So a lot of people looking very, very bad, maybe have bad bodies, will just simply maybe record a head video and nobody knows what they look like, and all the guys are tripping for this head up here and like, oh my god, you're such a pretty woman, and then they see a full picture and like, oh, is that her? How many times have you met a girl in real life and you're like, Omo, now the girl be that? Because our social media is far from what she is. Our social media is different. Our social media is communicating to a different audience. The people that are supposed to like her for what she is. You see, women will say, I want a man that like me for what I am. But um you're posting makeup photos, filtered photos. All your photos are not what you are. All the people that are going to meet up with you and maybe say, I'm a babe, I like you, and they're toasting you, and I say, okay, let us meet up in real life. All the people that are going to meet you up are people that like your Facebook or like your Instagram. They don't like you. Then they meet you and it's a big disappointment. And yeah, I see that men don't like me for what I am. Oh, sorry, we didn't get a chance to do so. The only way to really get your tribe of people that actually align with you is when you are living a real life. You know? I don't have a mansion. I don't have a very big apartment. I don't have a very big car, and you would know because I do not have to go and lie that I do. I do not need to go and post one of my friends' cars or stop beside one of my friends' cars or go to one very beautiful building and then record there. Like that's how all my life is. No, that's not how all my life is. And I want to connect to people who are like me, who understand that there are boring times in your life, there are some uninteresting times, there are sad times, there are times when you don't just even want to talk to anyone. There are times when you don't feel too good. There are times when you're not motivated. You know, there are these times, and share those times. Share your non-motivated times, the times when you're not feeling good, when you're not feeling happy, and you're feeling sad. In fact, share the times when the thing about business is share the time when you guys are doing the crazy work, and let people communicate more because people want to be able to understand that they are relating to humans, to a tribe. Do you know why? Because there's a short supply of human beings now. Everyone is some character online. So that's just it. So that's what's up about this live. So for men who are listening to me, I'm building a community on men who are resourceful for each other, and it's Wising Men. Wising Men discusses our group on WhatsApp. And for those of you who would like to relate to the community for men, enlightening other men, I'd like you to reach out to me. You can send me a DM. You can easily comment under this live video and let us know if you're interested in being part of this. And we're growing something beautiful, for men across Africa and even beyond Africa. We're having different kind of men who can relate to shared experiences, who can truly communicate. So that's what's up. Till next time we have this kind of live, what I can say is stay wise.